Celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Joseph. Happy birthday. Love Mom, Dad, and Mari.
Happy birthday, Joseph. And also happy birthday to Corina. Happy 35th birthday to my beautiful daughter, Corina. We love you.
And celebrity chef Bobby Flay is 60 today.
Ooh, happy birthday, Mr. Chef Bobby Flay. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, looking at our clock up here, it is 5:17 on our Tuesday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today.
That's right. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. A 12-year-old boy is dead after falling through the ice. And county deputies shot and killed an armed suspect after he pointed a firearm at them. The city of Edna and the family of a murdered cheerleader are recognizing her life.
And today it's going to be a bit of a warm day for December 9th all across beautiful Texas, but that's all going to change because we got a front coming our way tonight and bringing some mighty chilly mornings this week. We'll talk about all that and the weather coming up.
Coming up in sports, we're talking playoff football for high school and college football. See what the road looks like for your favorite teams in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Monday. It's the beginning of another week.
Yes, and if you're looking forward to any kind of outdoor activity this week, today is the day because I believe it's going to be the warmest day this week.
I agree, yes. You are right on the money, Carol, and it is going to be a beautiful day today. I highly recommend what Carolyn is saying, getting out there and enjoy that lovely weather before that all changes tomorrow, because we got a front coming our way tonight. We're going to look at all that later on Sunrise, because right now if you're tuning in with us, you're looking live in Victoria. You can see right there on the camera a little bit of that light fog I've been talking about all morning. 56 degrees in Victoria, 2.1 degree off at 55, bringing that humidity to 97%, which is exactly why this computer says a 5-mile visibility, but that is consistent right there, that visibility for the rest of the Crossroads. We're all seeing that light fog. Nothing super dangerous just yet, but if you do see any of that thicker fog, just please be careful on the roads. Use your headlights. Do not use your brights. Use your low beams. But otherwise, I might also recommend a jacket if you're heading out the door. A little bit cool out there, mid-50s, some of low and upper 50s. Even those on the coast, you're next to that warm water, you're all in the 60s. But today, like I was saying, and Carolyn was just saying, it's going to be a warm, beautiful day today. Why? Because the winds have returned southerly. They're going to be picking up going into the afternoon. And the clouds are clearing. We're going to be cloudy in the morning, but sunny and beautiful in the 70s this afternoon. We'll look at the details of that and your day coming up next.
A 12-year-old boy is dead after falling through the ice in Albany's Washington Park over the weekend. Officers responded to Washington Park Lake in Albany around 4:30 p.m. following reports that teens had fallen through the ice. Firefighters and police were able to rescue an 11-year-old girl from the lake. She was treated at the scene and then sent to a local hospital. Crews continued the search for the second child and located the body of the 12-year-old around 7 p.m. In Florida, 2 Hillsborough County deputies shot and killed an armed suspect after he pointed a firearm at them Saturday night. A warning, this video is considered to be disturbing. The sheriff's office say the deputies responded to a Tampa home just after 11 p.m. following reports of gunfire. When deputies arrived on scene, they found 67-year-old Anthony DeDante in the bathtub. One of the officers moved the shower curtain back and saw blood on DeDante's chest and a firearm in his hand. DeDante was given several warnings to drop the gun. He did not comply and instead pointed the gun at one of the deputies. Both deputies shot DeDante, who died from his injuries. The city of Edna and the family of Lisbeth Medina are recognizing her life, as Thursday was the 1-year mark of her murder. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joins us with the timeline of events surrounding her death.
Thursday, December 5th, marked the 1-year anniversary for the death of 16-year-old Lisbeth Medina. Her accused killer, Rafael Romero, is near the start of his legal proceedings after police say he confessed to the crime.
When it comes to the gravity of what he did, I think the appropriate thing for him would be the death penalty, in my eyes.
Lisbeth was a 16-year-old high school student in Edna, finishing up a fall football semester as an Edna High School cheerleader.
She was not only an angel, she was an angel here on earth, and she's an angel now.
Romero was a 23-year-old, serving probation for a felony burglary charge and staying in Schulenburg with an expired work visa. Lisbeth and her mother Jacqueline lived in an apartment in the small town. On November 13th, that apartment was burglarized, and police say the crime may have been connected to the murder. The police also believe Romero stalked Lisbeth after the burglary. Just a few weeks later, a silver Ford Taurus belonging to Romero drove through the apartment complex on the night of December 4th. The next night, the city of Edna planned to hold their lighted Christmas parade. Lisbeth and the Edna cheerleaders were scheduled to march in the parade, and her mother Jacqueline was excited to see her daughter participate in the yearly tradition. Mental alarm bells went off when Jacqueline did not see her daughter with the rest of the cheer squad.
And I knew right away something was wrong.
Even more questionable was the fact none of her friends or cheer coach had seen her at school that day. Jacqueline sent a text to her daughter, to which Lisbeth did not respond. A group of Lisbeth's friends accompanied Jacqueline to her home, where they called out Lisbeth's name in hopes she was there. Jacqueline found her daughter, dead, strewn out in the back bedroom's bathtub. Her clothes were soaked, and she had visible stab wounds in her upper stomach area. The community held a candlelight vigil in her memory a few nights later, and her family in Nebraska held her funeral on December 12th.
I was shocked, and I grabbed my clothes and everything in less than 5 minutes, and I said, I'm ready. I need to be with my sister now.
But while her family laid her to rest, the police were hoping to make arrests. They used a string of disturbing details to follow the trail. For one, a man later identified as Romero was seen running to a silver Taurus from near the apartment the morning of Lisbeth's murder. The second piece of evidence, an anecdote from a neighbor, claiming they heard 2 loud thuds and water running in the shower, a story that could explain the state in which Lisbeth was found. Finally, authorities say the suspect used Lisbeth's cell phone to respond to a friend that texted her the same night as the vigil. He also responded to Lisbeth's boyfriend at the time in the same manner. Both feared that Romero was targeting them as well. Authorities tracked the phone to Schulenburg, where they found the familiar silver Ford Taurus in front of a mobile home. A Texas Ranger confronted Romero, leading to a confession from the leading suspect. Police arrested Romero and searched his room, finding Lisbeth's wallet and several other personal identifiers. While in custody, Edna PD was awarded an ICE detainer after initially being denied. Now, Romero sits in the Jackson County Jail, waiting for his inevitable court proceedings in lieu of $2 million bond. Those proceedings have seen some delays and surprises. In February of this year, a grand jury indicted him of potential capital murder, believing there was enough evidence to take to court. In March, he did not attend his arraignment trial.
To see this full story, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Remember, follow us on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now just about 6:38 on our Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. Lara Trump looking to step down from her leadership role with the Republican National Committee.
After 5 decades of iron rule, the Assad regime overthrown in Syria. I'm Nicole D'Antonio with details on what comes next for the region and reaction from the White House.
And also coming up next after the break in the full forecast, we got a warm day today, but that's all going to change with the front coming our way tonight. We're going to take a look at when that gets here and take a look at just how cold it's going to get coming up next in weather. Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're tuning in with us here looking live in Cuero, still plenty cloudy out there as you can see, and it's a little bit cool, so I'm still recommending that jacket, although some of us actually probably love this kind of weather. A bit cool to me. I'm a warm weather kind of guy. 53 right now up in Cuero, dew point 1 degree off at 52, bringing the humidity to a high 97%, and that is enough to see a little bit of fog. And that's why it's indicative of 4 miles here on the computer. So just be careful if you do see any of that thicker fog. That's not really thick fog. You might be seeing some thin fog with that level of humidity. But otherwise, looking at your clouds, we do have that thick plume of clouds over us. You can see it all over South Texas. Why do we have that clouds? Because we had that upper level low that is over the southern Rockies this weekend. That moved eastward, and it's right now located over western Tennessee and eastern Arkansas. That's going to bring us the front tonight. But if that one wasn't enough, we got another front coming over the weekend off this system in the Pacific. We're going to look at that later on sunrise. Because timing out the front that's coming our way overnight tonight. You can see it right here. It's going to be a really weak one at first when it comes through between 3 or 4 a.m., but then it's going to be reinforced with another batch of drier, colder air coming in right behind it, blowing in through all day tomorrow. And with that front blowing through, it's going to be a bit of a warm one today before it gets through. We're going to look at highs in the 60s tomorrow after it passes. And then when it passes, we're looking at some chilly mornings for Wednesday morning. Some in our northern counties could be at near or below freezing. So bundle up. Going to be a bit chilly out there this week before rain chances pick up this weekend. And we're going to look at that coming up next.
It's been an eventful weekend for the Edna Cowboys. We heard from Coach Mitchell and Braylon Harris after their big win against Llano. So now the stage has been set for the Cowboys' next playoff matchup. And it's safe to say that their hands will be full, taking on the Columbus Cardinals in the state semifinals. Columbus, a team that's quite familiar with the Crossroads. There you see them taking on Cuero at Gobbler Stadium. This all happening in week 1, and it was Columbus showing us early on that they are here to stay, beating Cuero. Final score 65-24. Edna's biggest obstacle for now in the playoffs, taking on a top 100 team in the state of Texas. But as Edna has shown, when faced with tough competition, they'll compete with the best. So can they get it done one more time before state? Find out this Thursday in Houston for the Class 3A Division I state semifinals. This action will be at Rice University Stadium. Kickoff is expected to be at 7 p.m. Ticket information will be available soon, so make sure you stay tuned for more information regarding the tickets. The regular season for college football concluded this past weekend, and we are in officially a new era of college football. A new extended postseason. We're talking more bracket games and teams that won their respective conference having a guaranteed spot to compete for the national title. And yesterday, the Longhorns still unable to find an answer in their matchup against Georgia in the SEC championship game. They still find themselves in the playoff picture, but this loss only moved them down 2 places in the AP poll. So here's the official college football playoff bracket. The Longhorns' road to a potential championship looks a little bit longer than most here wanted. They're taking on Clemson who won their conference game this weekend, shortly before we went on the air against SMU. And if Texas wins that, they'll be taking on another conference champion in Arizona State, who beat Iowa State for the Big 12 championship. So this looks to be a long road for the Longhorns in this college postseason. And that does it for your sports. Until next time, I'm Ray Robinson.
Experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscast and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. After nearly half a century, the long rule of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad comes to an end. Over the weekend, rebels took control of the capital of Damascus.
Celebrations across Syria after rebel fighters seized control of the presidential palace, ousting the longtime president from power. Video from inside the palace shows fires burning and some Syrians seizing valuables. Bashar al-Assad and his family leaving for Russia, where they were reportedly granted political asylum, according to Russian state media. President Biden describing the situation as a fundamental act of justice.
It's a moment of historic opportunity for the long-suffering people of Syria to build a better future for their proud country. It's also a moment of risk and uncertainty. As we all turn to the question of what comes next,
the Islamist leader of the main rebel group, Abu Muhammad al-Gulani, is a former al-Qaeda commander who cut ties with the group in 2016. He has since tried to project a moderate image. Right now, nearly 900 American troops are stationed in Syria. Over the weekend, the U.S. launching airstrikes on at least 75 ISIS targets.
We're clear-eyed about the fact that ISIS will try to take advantage of any vacuum to reestablish its capabilities and to create a safe haven. We will not let that happen.
Meanwhile, there's renewed hope for the family of Alston Tice, the American journalist kidnapped in Syria in 2012 and believed to have been held by the Assad regime. President Biden saying, "We think we can get him back."
We're reaching out to anyone and everyone from the media, from the White House, from the State Department to do what they can to take advantage of this singular moment.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military sent ground troops to the Syrian border on Sunday to try and stabilize the area. This is the first time Israel has crossed into territory in Syria since the war in 1973. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Lara Trump says she will step down as the co-chair of the Republican National Committee. The daughter-in-law of President-elect Donald Trump made the announcement Sunday night on X. Lara, who is married to Eric Trump, says she will formally step down at the next RNC meeting. She did not mention her future plans, but there is speculation she is considering a run for U.S. Senate to replace Marco Rubio, who President-elect Trump has picked to be the next Secretary of State. The time now, looking at our clock up here, it is 6:46 on our Monday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. Toxic shock syndrome. What are the causes and how can you prevent from becoming affected? All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Violet. Can't believe how fast and how tall you've grown now. Keep dancing through life and shining bright. From your friends and family. Love you always.
Oh, happy birthday, Violet. And also happy birthday to Flo and Sue. From your entire family, we love you both.
Happy birthday to my beautiful Aunt Victoria. You mean the world to me. Wish you a great day. Always your Dee Dee.
Oh, happy birthday, Victoria. And happy 8th birthday to Linda Rose. Mama and sisters love you very much.
Shark Tank entrepreneur and inventor Lori Greiner is 55 today.
Happy birthday, Miss Lori Greiner. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
All right, looking at our clock up here, it is 6:47 on our Monday morning. Happy birthday if you're celebrating one today, or maybe you celebrated over the weekend.
That's right, or over the weekend. Happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure some of y'all stepped your foot out the door this weekend and you saw some liquid coming from the sky. That means rain, something we haven't seen in a long time. And you can actually see that here on your rainfall totals map. But before we get to that, that actually leads us to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll asks, did you see any rain this weekend? And it looks like all 100% of y'all that had tuned in with us this morning are saying yes. But if you didn't, you can always vote no. Just go to crossroadstoday.com/vote whether to participate, and it will continuously have more weather polls for the rest of the week. So definitely tune in for those. But looking at your rainfall totals that we saw yesterday, this is actually the last 24 hours. Why is it not the last 48 hours? Because you may have noticed on Saturday, we didn't really get too much rain. Actually, really greatly diminished my rainfall chances all the way down to 10%. I was originally thinking we would see that. Sorry about that. I thought we would, but we did see it yesterday on Sunday. We saw a solid majority of us in the Crossroads saw about ½ inch to an inch of rain, while everyone that was around 59 or south of that saw between 1/4 inch to a ½ inch. Now, if you didn't see rain yesterday, we're not looking the greatest if you wanted to see any more rain for the rest of this week. I do have chances picking back up on Friday to 20%, maybe a few spotty showers in the area like you can see here. Really light rain if you do see any of that on Friday. But then as we go into Saturday, we're going to have another front come through, and that might spawn off some more rain, bumping up our chances to 30%. And that's going to be coming off of this big system out there in the Pacific. And like I said, that one will be bringing us some more chilly weather as we go into next week. But we're going to look at that more coming up later on Sunrise.
Different types of bacteria can cause toxic shock syndrome, and it's been linked to the use of tampons as an uptick has been seen.
Shock syndrome, or TSS, is caused by toxins released by common bacteria like staph or strep. These toxins trigger severe inflammation in the body, leading to high fever, rash, low blood pressure, vomiting, or even organ failure. While tampons can increase risk for TSS, they are not the direct cause. Leaving a tampon in too long simply creates an environment where bacteria can thrive. The CDC recently reported a 20-year high in strep-induced TSS. There have also been reports of trace amounts of heavy metals found in tampons, though whether or not these pose any health risks is under FDA investigation. For now, experts say tampons are safe to use, but if you believe you're experiencing any symptoms of toxic shock syndrome, seek immediate medical attention. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We want to know, have you or anyone you know ever suffered from toxic shock syndrome? Okay, let's take a look. 14% of you say yes, and 83% of you say no. 3% of you say you're unsure. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Several people overdosed after taking tainted drugs at a party. Police in Boulder, Colorado are investigating after 6 college students overdosed on potentially tainted drugs. Authorities say it happened Saturday night at a frat party at the Kappa Sigma House. Officers responded to the scene on Pennsylvania Avenue between 10 and 10:30 p.m. Several people were visibly sick when officers arrived and Noxolone was administered. Police believe the men had ingested a possibly tainted batch of cocaine. Alcohol was also involved at the party. All of the students involved are expected to survive. Victoria County Commissioners meet this morning at the Victoria County Courthouse at 115 North Bridge Street. That meeting starts at 10 a.m. They'll discuss several items from their agenda, including the Victoria Regional Airport and an incoming grant worth over $1.5 million. They'll also discuss finances and other topics as well, including accepting a $3,000 donation from Warriors Weekend for the helicopter monument at Patriot Park. The Humility Project in Victoria is working to keep the homeless warm this winter season. They are accepting donations until December 20th. They're looking for warm clothing and essentials like sleeping bags, blankets, hand warmers, gloves, beanies, scarves, and hoodies. They're accepting these items new or gently used. You can drop off your donations at the Dr. Petty Dodson Public Health Center with Be Well Victoria. That's at 2805 North Navarro Street. And you can also donate to Our Savior's Lutheran Church at 4102 Van Jordan Street. For more information, call 361-433-5388. Texas leaders have shown a decades-long antipathy toward the health insurance program. If Trump makes severe reductions, it's unlikely leaders would have the political will to make up any lost federal funds with state money. That's according to experts. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's pay close attention to our forecast because we have some rocky weather days ahead of us, Parker, and there's a beautiful cloudy sunset. Whoa, very cloudy sunset on the coast. Do we need to watch out for fog out there?
Yeah, this morning, if you're tuning in with us, you can see here on the Port Lavaca camera, we're doing with a little bit of fog that actually just formed over the last 20 to 30 minutes or so. That's why you can see this computer says a 1 mile visibility. I might say around that as well, but 60 degrees out there on the coast. I might maybe recommend a jacket with that cool weather. But if you're going to be driving on the roads, you just saw the fog, just be careful, especially in the little bit lower elevated areas where the fog is a little bit thicker. But that fog will be clearing here over the next hour or 2 hours. And we're going to be having the sun come back out today, and we're looking for a warm day for December 9th all across Texas. Looking a little bit closer to home, though. I'm thinking 78 for the high in Port Lavaca with, like I said, clouds finally clearing sometime in the early mid-afternoon time, bringing the sun back out. 79 for the high today in Victoria, and about 80, I'm thinking, today in Cuero. But Carolina was just saying, yeah, we got a front coming our way, bringing some chilly weather midweek, so I might maybe recommend going out and donating some warm clothes.
Definitely keep in mind the homeless also include children. There are homeless children out there, so keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us and join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max tonight for 12 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione now charged with murder in connection with the death of the United Healthcare CEO. And reactions are mixed after a jury found Daniel Penny not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. Plus, the latest on the transition of power in the White House as Inauguration Day nears.
And all thanks to a cold front that's blowing through us right now as we speak. It's going to be a bit of a cool one all across beautiful Texas today. And if you think that was cool, it's going to be a cold night. We'll take a look at all that weather coming up.
And the Tidehaven Tigers look to reach the state championship game back-to-back years. We'll preview this game coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astray.
And I'm Parker Cox. Today is Tuesday, December 10th. 15 days away from Christmas. I'm just going to keep on saying it because...
Oh my gosh, Parker. And he just requested that I only play Christmas songs moving forward.
Because we got to feel like we're getting close to Christmas somehow.
It's true. You need that seasonal closure. Parker's from Dallas,
I'm from Dallas,
he's used to it getting a little chillier early.
Yeah, usually we're getting cool, pretty chilly at this time.
Well, it's going to get chilly tonight.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Well, it's official. We are going to be getting a bit chilly tonight. We're going to look at all that later on sunrise because some of us will be getting near or below freezing. Like I said, we're going to look at that later on sunrise because right now, if you're tuning in with us, you've got a beautiful sunrise on your camera this morning here in Victoria. And you can actually see the camera shaking a little bit. Why? Because the front is blowing through, providing us with a little bit of a breeze out there. Right now, winds are at 7 miles an hour, sustained out of the north-northwest, gusting up to about 15 to 20 miles an hour at times, bringing our temperature to right now about 50 flat. Humidity's at 96%, but that's going to continue dropping all day today because of the dry air that's filtering into us right now. And actually, you see on the radar right there, there's the front that's passing all the way into the Gulf right now, bringing us the breezy winds. Right now, the winds sustained across the crossroads are between 5 to 10 miles an hour. Some are seeing stronger than that. But those winds that you see here will actually get stronger today. We're going to be looking for some breezy wind gusts this afternoon. We'll also talk about that later. Because if you're seeing your kiddos out the door this morning, I'm going to go ahead and recommend the jacket for the rest of today because it's only getting up to the 60s. We're going to look at the details of your day and more coming up next.
26-year-old Luigi Mangione has been charged with murder in connection with the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione was arrested Monday morning at a McDonald's restaurant in Altoona, Pennsylvania, after an employee noticed him. Police say they found a firearm believed to have been 3D printed and a handwritten document on Mangione that speaks both to his motivation and mindset. He was also carrying fake ID and a passport. We'll have more on this story later on Sunrise. The reactions are mixed after a jury found Daniel Penny not guilty of criminally negligent homicide yesterday. The case stems from an incident on a New York subway train last year. Witnesses say Jordan Neely was acting erratically when he boarded the train. Video shows Penny putting him in a chokehold that led to his death. An attorney for the former Marine says Penny protected himself and others on the train. He calls Neely a, quote, psychotic madman with a history of violence. Neely struggled with homelessness, mental health, and drug abuse. His father says he's heartbroken over the verdict. And Washington, the president-elect's pick to lead the Pentagon, is making new claims about what he said regarding women in combat.
Good morning, everybody.
Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth now argues his past comments about women in the military have been misconstrued.
Some of our greatest warriors, our best warriors out there are women who serve, raise their right hand to defend this country and love our nation.
Hegseth recently said this about women in combat roles.
Everybody knows between bone density and lung capacity and muscle strength, men and women are just different.
Yesterday, Hegseth met with Senator Joni Ernst, an Army veteran who will be key for his confirmation. Ernst not committing to vote for Hegseth, but saying she supports the process. Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard, President-elect Trump's nominee for National Intelligence Director, met with Republican senators.
What should happen next in Syria, Congresswoman?
Facing scrutiny about her visit to Syria in 2017 when she met with then-President Bashar al-Assad. Her visit seen by some as legitimizing a brutal leader. But Gabbard defended the trip, saying it's important to open dialogue. Assad has now fled to Russia after rebels took the capital over the weekend. Families are now rushing to this notorious Syrian prison, where detainees are feared to be held underground, hoping to be reunited with loved ones who disappeared under Assad's regime. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
A pretrial hearing in the murder trial for Fernando Acosta this Thursday was canceled and moved to January 22nd due to witness unavailability. The trial would begin on April 7th. Acosta's trial was pushed back several times before settling on the new date. The court met on August 2nd and August 12th before deciding to delay the trial. Acosta is charged with the murder of Amanda Johnson in 2021. The hearing for a Victoria teen accused of making a terroristic threat is reset. Monday, the court reset the case against 17-year-old Brennan Gray until after the new year. Victoria County Sheriff deputies arrested Gray on September 12th after he reportedly made a threat of a school shooting and implied he had a weapon in his backpack, which he did not. Gray is charged with making a terroristic threat causing fear of imminent serious bodily injury. The occupants of a vehicle that caught fire Monday made it out safely. Victoria and Inez fire departments responded to the fire around 6 p.m. Monday near a rest stop. The vehicle owner's wife was driving northbound when the car overheated and smoke came out of the engine. She pulled over and then a short time later it burst into flames. The Victoria Regional Airport Control Tower is undergoing a renovation to meet growing demand. The upgrade is possible through a $1.5 million grant to Victoria County from the Federal Aviation Administration. This grant will be used to replace the air conditioning, windows, and elevator and make the tower overall more compliant to FAA standards. Replacement of communication radios and weather equipment is also planned. The renovation will take over a year to complete. And it's just one grant that's helping the future of the airport fly high. In addition to funds designated for the tower renovations, more than $10 million have been designated for runway and taxiway upgrades. The airport manager says the terminal building is next for updates, but those plans have to wait until next year at the earliest.
That application for a terminal grant that comes up next year, sometime in the spring. And yeah, we will be applying for that grant.
Lorena says the FAA recognizes the increased passenger traffic over the last year, making these grants available. Port Lavaca's annual nativity scene is open for the public to see this holiday season. It's curated by local collectors Veronica and Kevin Coliba. The exhibit features over 1,000 pieces and it's still growing. This one-of-a-kind exhibit features creations made from a variety of materials, including corn husk, cinnamon bark, pasta, aluminum cans, stained glass, wax, carved wood, lace, yarn, pinto beans, and more. Remember, follow us on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:38 on our Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. A former congressman now looking to join the ranks of the newsroom after taking his hat out of the running for Attorney General.
A suspect is in custody charged with killing the CEO of United Healthcare. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with details on the arrest and how the nearly week-long manhunt finally came to an end.
And also coming up next after the break in the full forecast, you heard me talk about near or below freezing temperatures. Yeah, that still looks to be the case. Tonight's going to be a bit of a cold one. I'll tell you just how cold I think it's going to be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads. You're looking live in Cuero. You can see how clear it is out there. You can see just a few passing cirrus clouds over us, but other than that, we've got a nice and pretty sunrise out there. It's a little bit chilly, so for you to go see that sunrise, or if you're heading out the door, I might recommend the jacket. Sitting at 50 flat, that's cool to me. I'm a warm weather kind of guy. I'm used to the 60s and 70s to start of the day, but it's still a little bit humid out there. Humidity is at 90% with that dew point 3 degrees off. But again, like I've been saying, no need to worry about fog this morning. The worry for that was earlier this morning at like 3 a.m. when we had visibilities down to 100 to 150 feet. That was very dangerous. So I hope everybody was safe with that. But why we're not expecting fog out there is because we have a little bit of a breezy northerly wind coming through right now, and that wind will be coming through, and it's going to be more. It's going to get even stronger as we go into the afternoon time, because we'll get your future wind gusts for today. In the morning time, 8 or 9 a.m., we might pick up a slight gust up to 25 or 30. That'll calm back down to 20 to 25 for around noon time. But in the afternoon time, sometime after 3 or 4 p.m., we're going to be picking up wind gusts up to 30 to 35 for the inland counties. Along the coast, y'all could see 40 to 45 wind gusts for overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So please be careful if you're on the roads with that. But with those dry northerly winds coming through, guess what else is coming through? The sun. The sun is finally coming back out. I know we've been like 6 or 7 days with like pure cloud cover. But even with the sunshine beaming on us as we go into the afternoon time, we're only getting to the low and mid 60s for highs today before our lows overnight tonight under clear skies dropping to near or below freezing, especially for our northern counties. So just be careful with that. I'd recommend bundling up. But as we go into this weekend, we're warming right back to the 70s. And we're going to look at that coming up next.
It is state semifinals. It is state semifinals week here in the Crossroads. We got 4 teams remaining here. Again, in Ganado, Shiner, Edna, and Tidehaven. And just mentioned there, Tidehaven, they're trying to punch their ticket back to the state for the 2nd year in a row, everybody. So sports reporter Zach Brown has the sights and sounds from Tidehaven, who seem to be peaking at just the right time.
We back in it, let's go! The Tidehaven Tigers are back in the state semifinals after upsetting Lexington. Tidehaven always embracing that underdog role. Not only do they not care about the outside noise, they wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm going to be honest with you. If we weren't the underdogs, I don't know if we would know how to act. So for some reason, a lot of people like to pick us, and I don't blame them. That's a good-looking team over there, and I don't think we ever win the eye contest. You know what I mean? We're not that big. We don't look like we're like a bunch of stallions. But like I said, we just find a way.
When we first started this year, everyone counted us out because we lost some key players. But at the end of the day, we stuck together, and we love proving people wrong. We love being the underdog, and we love beating the odds.
Tidehaven about as tough as it gets physically, and this team has a strong defensive identity. They love to lay the hammer any chance they get.
We just love out-hitting people, and that's the motto that we live by. We love to out-hit people. We like to let people quit, and that's basically what we live by. Who's projected to lose?
The boys in El Maton still gold ball hunting, just 1 win away from punching their ticket back to the state championship. And if there's anything the state of Texas can learn from the Tidehaven Tigers, never count them out. Their state semifinal game will be this Thursday against Woodville at Randall Reed Stadium, and you can bet their fans will travel well as they search for that first title since 1980. Zach Brown, KVUE TV 25, News Now Sports.
All right, thanks, Zach. And wish again Tidehaven luck again. They're going to face again the Woodville Eagles there, going up there in Randall Reed Stadium there. Again, that will be a 7 o'clock tip-off there at Thursday night. This is Max Williams, 25, News Now Sports.
After nearly a week-long manhunt, this morning a suspect is in custody and charged with killing the CEO of United Healthcare.
This morning, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione is in custody for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Police saying the man was arrested at this McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania after nearly a week-long search. The break came when an employee recognized Mangione from the surveillance images and called police.
When officers arrived, they made contact with the male who had a face mask on. That male was asked to remove his face mask, and officers immediately recognized him as a suspect in the New York City shooting.
Police discovered Mangione had a passport and several fake IDs, including a fake New Jersey ID, the same one allegedly used to check into a hostel in New York. Police say he also had a 3D printed silencer and a 3D printed ghost gun, which is untraceable with no serial numbers, as well as a 3-page document which sources say mentioned United Healthcare by name and included the quotes, "These parasites had it coming, and I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done."
I understand people have real frustration with our healthcare system. This killer was not a hero. He should not be hailed.
Mangione was valedictorian at an all-boys prep school in Baltimore. He went on to earn a master's in engineering at the University of Pennsylvania. Overnight, New York prosecutors charged Mangione with second-degree murder in the death of Brian Thompson. He's also charged with possession of a loaded firearm, possession of a forged instrument, and criminal possession of a weapon. Mangione's family responded to the charges, saying they are shocked and devastated by the arrest, and they're praying for Brian Thompson's family. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is expected to announce he is joining One American News Network as an anchor. That's according to a source familiar with the situation. Last month, Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration to serve as Attorney General after it became clear he didn't have the votes in the Senate to win confirmation. Gaetz' decision to withdraw his name came in the face of bipartisan pressure. Democrats were pushing hard for the release of a House Ethics Committee report. The report was to go into detail into the panel's investigation into him, including allegations of sexual misconduct and other alleged crimes. Gaetz has denied the allegations. The time is now 6:47 on our Tuesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise, how a weakened immune system can impact the effects of food poisoning.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure you heard me talk about this enough, and I hope that you know, or at least I hope you know, that it's going to be a bit of a cool one out there today, not just here in the Crossroads in South Texas, but all across Texas. It's going to be a bit of a cool one out there today. These are your high temperatures you can see all across beautiful Texas. Up in North Texas, they're looking at highs in the 40s. The hottest that they're going to get today, warmest, I guess it's cool. Warmest they're going to get today is in the 40s up in North Texas. But down here in South Texas, you can see we're kind of residing in the 60s margin. But that's going to continue tomorrow. Highs in the 60s down here in South Texas. But North Texas will heat back to the 60s with all that sunshine that is finally returning. But this finally returning sunshine means that the skies are clearing. And with clearing skies, that lets our low temperatures tonight that allows all the heat that's on the ground to freely escape into the upper atmosphere. That's called radiative cooling in the meteorology world, and that's going to bring us a bit of a cold morning. For tomorrow, Wednesday morning, we're going to be looking at near or below freezing for our northern counties in the Crossroads, while North Texas, they're going to be in the 20s. And same in West Texas over there in the mountains in El Paso, 28 El Paso. That's incredible. Quite chilly if you ask me. But you can see right over Texas, all the clear skies. That's going to bring us the sunshine and the clear, cold night tonight. But we have another system that is out there in the Eastern Pacific that we've been talking about this week. Originally, we thought that low was going to bring us another front on Saturday night. Unfortunately, that low is now going to be pushing a little bit further north, and that'll bring the front a little bit close to us, but it will stall. But that's okay, because they're going to stick in the lovely 70s. But we're going to look at all that more coming up later on Sunrise.
Food poisoning can affect anyone, but if your immune system is running low on power, it may strike when you least expect it.
If you have a weakened immune system, you may be at a higher than average risk of food poisoning, the CDC cautions. People with conditions such as diabetes, kidney or liver disease, autoimmune disorders, or those receiving chemotherapy or radiation may have a harder time fighting off germs and infections. To avoid food poisoning, pay extra attention to what you eat, as some foods are safer than others. Undercooked meat, unwashed fruits and vegetables, and raw milk can all be hazardous. Pre-made deli items like potato salad, egg salad, and coleslaw are riskier too, especially compared to the homemade versions. If you're a fan of cheese, stick with hard cheeses or pasteurized soft cheese heated to a safe temperature. As for eggs, cook them until both the yolks and whites are firm. Avoid sunny side up or over easy. Beware of raw cookie dough, as it's made with uncooked flour and egg. Seafood lovers, make sure fish is cooked thoroughly. Making safer food choices, especially if your immune system is compromised, can help you avoid feeling sick to your stomach. With this Medical Minute, I'm Zoreen Shah.
And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. Today we want to know, do you have a weakened immune system? Okay, let's take a look. 40% of you say yes, and 55% of you say no. 5% of you say you're unsure. Thank you for taking part in today's viewer poll. You can keep taking part by going to crossroadstoday.com/vote. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. What kind of controlled substance did a Canadian disguise as presents to get through airport security? At New Zealand's Auckland Airport, a Canadian passenger just made Santa's naughty list. That's according to customs officials. Authorities arrested a woman for attempting to smuggle drugs into the country by disguising them as Christmas presents. Customs officials say 22 pounds of methamphetamine worth up to $2.2 million was discovered in the woman's carry-on luggage when she arrived on a flight from Vancouver on Sunday. New Zealand Customs shared photos of the Christmas gifts, which were wrapped in bright red paper printed with snowflakes and stowed inside a red duffel bag. Yoakum City Council meets tonight, and they'll discuss a contract to replace the community center dance floor, among other agenda items. The meeting starts at 5:30 p.m. at Yoakum City Hall. They'll also possibly discuss a purchase above the budget for a new ambulance. And since the rain over the weekend wasn't enough to get us out of the drought, DeWitt County commissioners have banned the sale and use of some fireworks for the New Year holiday. The restricted fireworks include skyrockets with sticks and missiles with fins in any portion of the unincorporated areas of DeWitt County. A person who violates the ban could face a Class C misdemeanor. The Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign is now at all 3 Chick-fil-A's in Victoria. Chick-fil-A donated 20% of all orders on their app to the Salvation Army. The Victoria Television Group is ringing the bell at the Victoria Walmart Supercenter at 9002 North Navarro this Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. You'll be able to see Parker and I there. The Salvation Army of Victoria's goal is to raise $70,000 through the Red Kettles this holiday season. The campaign continues through Christmas Eve. A federal judge blocks a rule that would have given DACA recipients access to Affordable Care Act coverage. You can read this story and more on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a final look at our forecast with a beautiful sunrise over Port Lavaca, and it looks like most of that fog is burned up.
That's right, Carolyn. You can actually see nice and clear morning out there, and so are the clouds. They're acting the same. You can see that. Clouds are starting to push away from us, going out into the Gulf, and we're going to be looking at lots of sunshine finally coming back to the Crossroads today. But with the sunshine, it's going to be a bit of a cool one out there because we've got the front coming through us. It's 54 right now in Fort Lavaca. A bit cool out there right now. Still plenty humid, but like I said, we've got a wind going through us, not providing us with any fog. But like I said, windy day today. So if you're going down to the coast or if you're going to be going fishing, make sure to know we're going to be seeing expecting wind gusts up to 40 to 45 knots. That's 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour at times. So please be careful if you're going down to the water today. That's why there's a gale warning in effect for those choppy waters and those windy, breezy winds. But for today, even behind the breezy winds and sunny skies, only getting up to 65 for the high in Port Lavaca, so I might also recommend a jacket. Same thing in Victoria, a little bit cooler, 64 for the high today. Sunshine finally returning, and 63 for the high today in Cuero. But for the rest of this week, if you're not a fan of this cool 60s, we're going to slowly warm back up to the nice 70s for this weekend. But we do still have this tonight. It's going to be cold tonight, so I'm going to recommend people turn their heaters on.
I'm glad we have some good weather for Saturday when we'll be ringing the bell for the kettles.
Right.
So we'll be out there at that Walmart. And be sure to join Shauna, Dawn, Maclovio, and Max tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.